I call this meeting to order and welcome everyone in attendance and those viewing the meeting on live stream. Thank you for being here. All of our board members are present. We'll start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance by Amy Bowie.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we will approve or amend the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as it is written?
I move that we approve the agenda as it's been presented.
Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? If there are no corrections, the agenda is approved. The next item on the agenda.
I'll second that.
We don't.
She looked at me like I needed to. Yeah, we need a motion and a second. and
A second
vote.
and-
To approve it? Oh, okay. Next on the agenda is awards and recognitions.
We still
Although,
didn't,
no,
we
don't
still didn't
have
approve
that.
the agenda.
We just need all in favor
We
Oh.
of the
need to,
agenda.
Oh, okay. All in favor of approving the agenda? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. Next is public or written comment, and I don't see any public written comment or in person. The next is approval, well, we don't have awards and recognitions, so next is the self-explanatory reports, which we don't need to approve.
Do we have to approve the minutes from June?
Current one.
Um,
Because I also see a public comment, but
you do?
There's a written one attached.
there's a written one, but
Oh, I missed that. Okay, so the written comment, oh, yes, I do see that. There is written comment that we have received. Next is the approval of the June board meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
I hereby move that the board approve the following minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The June board meeting minutes are approved. Next is payment, is the consent agenda. I guess I can just do all of it together. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The self-explanatory reports are for information. And then next is unit development report, which, well, I guess that's just information as well. And then, is that right?
Well, we'll have Amy present that one.
We are going to, okay, it just says,
Yeah, just information.
okay, presented by Amy Bowie.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Howell, Ms. Johnson. I'm pleased to share a brief description of some of the instructional and curriculum work that took place this summer. A total of 92 teachers dedicated their time this summer to curriculum and development unit revision across several key content areas. The first key content area was English Language Arts for elementary. And this work was exciting because about this time last year, the State Department had released at the state level some essential standards. I think you'll remember me talking about those. And so our teachers, this was their first opportunity to work with those essential standards, identify them in our own adopted curriculum in HMH, identify them, prioritize them, and collaborate to make their modules more refined in terms of really making sure they're targeting those essential standards. And they did 3 days of that. They also, it lent itself to some really valuable discussion about what the language looked like on the report card home to parents, how we were communicating grades or on target, near target, how we were communicating that to parents. And so they went through and they redrafted the language of the report card to make sure it aligned more fully with those essential standards. So it was just more clear. They added clarity with parent communication, which I think is a really important thing. Another key moment for them, I think, was the ownership that they felt, the autonomy that they felt in being able to take the essential standards. They've taught the curriculum for 2 years and making decisions. And so they vocalized how important it was for them to have that autonomy and that decision-making power. I need to preface all of this report with the fact that none of this could have happened without our coordinators, Raina Patterson and Cassie Atwood, our instructional coaches as well. They provided strong leadership. So the fourth day of elementary ELA was actually dedicated to social studies. And we gave fifth grade teachers time to look at that studies weekly curriculum that's newly adopted. We gave fourth grade teachers time to work on some pre-teaching and background knowledge for Idaho Adventure, their fourth grade curriculum. And then the K through 3, those teachers spent time aligning the social studies standards, the newly released social studies standards, with their HMH curriculum to make sure, and deciding which of those standards was important enough to include in the report card as well. So a lot of work took place in 4 days, and it was successful. Then middle school science, we adopted Amplify, and so the first day of the middle school, this was unprecedented. We invited all middle school science teachers to unit development, which just doesn't ever happen. But we did it because we just thought it was such a shift. It was such a shift from teaching, earth science, life science to teaching it integrated, that we just thought they all needed a voice in realigning the curriculum. So it was really successful as well. Elisa Novi has a science background, and she happens to be our secondary instructional coach, so she was big, so was Heidi Baker. And we had Amplify come in for 1 day and provide just the surface knowledge, like the basics of navigating the program and using the labs and what's the most engaging for students. And then the final 3 days, they took the essential standards, looked at ISAT data, aligned curriculum to those essential standards, and built their units. And then probably the one I'm most excited about, I shouldn't say that out loud because they were all exciting, but this one was also unprecedented. In the past, we've only brought in core teachers for unit development. And this year we brought in middle school intervention teachers for math and ELA, and they've never had the opportunity. And maybe I'm most excited about that because I feel like they thanked us probably 672 times for that time that they had to really be deliberate about a learner is struggling in math. I'm a math teacher, a learner is struggling in math, and I have them for 28 minutes a day in intervention. What is it that I do with them to improve their scores? And they had training and they had collaborative time to come up with a plan that they feel really good about. And we're hoping that we see that in scores, right? As we target instruction to those students who are below proficient in their math and ELA in middle school, we're hoping that that translates into data. And finally, high school US history came in, and they were only here for 1 day, and they just had a few, those standards weren't finalized yet, but they still were lopsided. They had too much material for the second try and not enough material for the first try, so they just realigned some units in 1 day, and then when the state finalizes those standards, we'll bring them back in to do the essential standards work. So this work does represent a strong commitment to academic excellence, and we appreciate your continued support in that area. And then moving on to are you ready for it? Would you like me to move on to the back to school calendar? In your packet, you have a back to school calendar. The intended audience for this is our building administrators, mostly because there's so much going on when everyone comes back to school. It's really tough for building principals to keep track of who needs to be where and when in their own building. And so keep in mind the audience, but you can see we welcome back, at the very top, you can see when high school principals come back on July 29th, who comes back on the 4th, who comes back on the 5th. And then you can see we welcome everybody back here at the district office with our first meetings on the 5th. And then the 11th through the 13th is our new teacher training. That's where they get really important professional development and meet their building mentors. Schedule pickup for middle and high school is on the 13th and 14th. We have on the 14th and 15th district-wide building leadership teams with Michael McDowell that we're bringing in for a focus on rigor. And we're really excited about I think you've heard about the work that we're planning on doing with him. And then we're there. Then we're there. On Thursday, August 21st, all staff returns, and it's showtime. And so you can glance down from August 21st through the first day of school on August 27th. You can see teachers are busy with building orientation, PD, classroom prep, and all juggling that and orchestrating. That's quite I'm just really glad I'm happy to present this calendar to you, and I'm glad that it's done. Any questions?
No.
Thank you.
That looks great.
I've got it. What's your theme this year?
Well, our instructional focus is on rigor redefined, which is taking small doable habits and this is really letting each building have voice and choice with Michael McDowell on, we're gonna focus on this small doable daily habit and watch it and see the success that comes from that. So that's our instructional focus. But I laughed because we're doing so many things, but that's kind of.
Rigor redefined, is that what you said?
Yeah, because really what it talks about is invisible learning, surface, deep, and transfer are the 3 types of knowledge.
The way you said that, it sounded like invisible.
Not invisible, also I just put my teeth back in and my mouth's parched, so I'm kind of having a hard time enunciating. So when it comes to visible learning, there's 3 types of learning. That's surface level, where they have the foundational skills, the deep learning, where they're making connections and making meaning, and surface deep, and then transfer, where they can, and so we're really gonna focus on how those things should be fluid. I think traditionally, maybe we missed the mark in some areas of the country and in our district, where we thought we had a preconceived notion that you should teach surface first and then deep and then transfer. But sometimes you just enter in on a transfer piece and then you build on the surface later. And so we'll be doing a lot of, it's in tune with our visible learning, but it's just really focused on what does rigor look like? What does rigor look like? And does that rigor tie to the standards, which makes me really excited as well. And we got that little preview from Michael McDowell in the spring, and he's going to kick it off with the full building leadership teams in the fall. And if it's anything like Michael McDowell, when did you first bring him to here, Dr. Howe? Am I making this up?
9 years ago.
9 years ago. If it's anything like that, teachers were really invigorated and receptive. He's charismatic. He's knowledgeable. I loved his book on rigor redefined. So I think it's going to be really good.
That's great.
And when does he come?
He will be
14th
here
and
the 14th and 15th
Mhm.
to meet with the BLTs, but there'll be continued work with him throughout the year.
We also have him set up for a January visit, and then we will have virtual check-ins October and November.
Oh.
Yep.
That's the plan. Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is the SRO Grant Award presented by Tanya Wilkes.
Point of information.
Yes.
Even though we've kind of passed over this, and I know Megan also noticed this, I wanted to acknowledge our kindergarten counts are in a very healthy place, I see. So, nice job.
Exciting.
Anyway.
Oh, good. Thank you.
All right. I wrote another school resource officer grant. I know we were awarded one last fall, and we got up and going and was able to add another SRO for all the elementary schools and help with some of the after-school activities. And so I just was encouraged that we did not have one in the Chubbuck area. So all of these SRO, school resource officers, are with the Pocatello Police Department, and they are not
I shouldn't say allowed, but that's out of jurisdiction to be in those Chubbuck schools. So we really needed one over there, and so I wrote another grant and we got it. And so we will be getting that approval from the city council on August 5th. It should be, other than just a signature, ready to go, that we'll have a 3-year grant to offer the Chubbuck School District, or Chubbuck schools, and they'll be housed at PV Tech.
So would that be Ellis, Chubbuck, and PV Tech, those three?
Correct. The only one not included is Tyhee, which is under the umbrella of the county.
I see a police officer there often.
Yeah, and they actually do a really good
Love
job. They've been coming to our safety meetings and so forth.
Awesome.
But they're not under school resource officer.
Awesome.
Okay?
Wow, I didn't know that.
Really good.
All right, thank you. Next is the Highland High School rebuild update presented by.
Yeah, we need
Oh, what, I'm
action
sorry,
on the
Brenda,
SRO grant.
staffing update.
First, we need action on the SRO grant to approve the grant
Oh,
award.
okay. So we, is there a motion to approve the SRO grant award as presented?
I hereby move that the board accept the SRO grant award as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The SRO grant award passed. Did you have something? No. Okay. And then Brenda will present the staffing award.
Good
Update.
Good evening. I just wanted to give you a quick staffing update where we are for the middle of July. Other than the Washington teachers, we've hired 13 elementary teachers, and we have 1 special education left to hire and a .5 kindergarten. In middle school, we've only had to hire 5 middle school teachers, and we have 1 position left in that, and that is a sped position as well. And in high school, there's been 28 positions hired in high school, and we have 2 hires left. We just got a math resignation at one of our high schools, and we still have 1 sped position. Keep in mind, though, those sped positions, it's not that there's not candidates in there, it's just that those are new positions based on enrollment.
Oh,
I see you have a culinary over at PV Tech.
She just hired that one,
Yeah, that's great.
so we're good.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
that's great.
Actually, Brenda, can you talk a little bit about the hiring fair? Sorry. Just bring that one on you.
Oh, yeah, I heard
Right,
about that.
sorry.
Yeah.
The hiring fair. So we did everything that we usually do, and we've got some really good candidates in our classified. I know that our maintenance department left with a smile on their face that they think that there was 3 for sure, right? So we had less people show up for the hiring fair than we had last year, but we had some really good candidates that they all felt like that they were able to take out of there. Transportation came to me today, and I think they had 3. Val Jensen, our substitute, felt like that she had probably 8 candidates for substitutes. I didn't get a chance to touch base with Janelle Harris before she left, but I know that there were some qualified candidates for special ed paras. Again, I would put that word out there to everyone and anyone that you know that feels like that that's something that they may find, a real joy in, is that we have a lot of para positions that are still available.
Brenda and Courtney will be signing autographs afterward if you'd like. They were on KZBQ a number of times in the week that led up to the hiring fair.
It's so funny, you can do the same thing, or you can add something different, and some years there are more people, and then there are some years that are a little less, but we still felt like we had some good people, good candidates, more quality maybe than quantity this year.
That's great. Awesome.
All right, we'll move on to business operations presented by Jonathan Balls, Highland update.
Good evening, Madam Chair and board members. Appreciate your time this evening. We have a couple a way of information, a few things for action as well. The first, I wanted to update on the Highland rebuild. We're happy that we do have power back to that building. That was a major, major undertaking. All new wiring, main wiring, new transformer and so forth. And so the power is back on, and that's a great relief. We are definitely in full construction mode. That is a full construction site. If you've been around there, you'll see that we're even on Bench Road. We had to close that road because we're tying in a new sewer line to that. That's what's going in there to the south. And so we have a large football camp up there, and they've had to walk a little bit. Just wanted to, we figured that's okay. And so they're making some great progress. The walls to the south and to the west, the gym walls are over 20 feet
I saw them.
now, so they're going really well. I talked to the Bateman Hall president, Mike Clements, who's been in before you before. They've had a great meeting with the Mason, and even though there's currently 17 to 18, if you're there during the day, there's 17 to 18 people there, but they're going to even increase that and actually start work on some other sides to maintain the schedule, which is very aggressive there. So we're excited about that. And so we'll continue to update the board. The website is also there as well for our construction project there. In your packet is some draft. It is definitely in a draft form. As we kind of look to the next phase in construction, we'll probably call it phase 3. The process will go through our capital improvement planning with the board. We wanted just to kind of throw out some potential projects that we might be considering. We do have money set aside for some of these. Obviously, we'll, as we get the budget numbers preliminary with Bateman Hall, and then through the bid process, we'll kind of look at some of these. Again, in no particular order, you'll see the list of a dozen or so different projects that really, by school year of 27, we'd like to be able to, have that project and that building refreshed, updated, and so, as we have done Pocatello and other schools there. So, wanted to, again, there's a memo there of potential projects. I don't know if the board had any feedback or anything of that regard. Again, you'll have multiple occasions to jump in there. We do anticipate probably a Highland rebuild committee or a slim down committee, probably mid-August. We'll let everybody finish their vacations, and we'll kind of start that process. And then kind of the second is kind of a map, just basically I circled every area around Highland, but a potential, so we could, speak intelligently on, okay, where are some of these elements that we'd like to add or improve around Highland, where would they potentially go?
So what's the yellow triangle in the bottom?
So
right?
that's
What is
an
that?
option. Right now, that's just a flat piece of grass. It's only, if I remember right, it's barely over an acre. Maybe that's, it's this there to the south of the walkway, you'd walk in on that, basically that yellow line, the short yellow line of that triangle.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, we've thrown that out as potential parking. It could maybe be 30 or 40 parking spots.
Isn't there a storage unit right there?
The boxcar?
No, the boxcar is more to the south. That's fairly,
So that's just really undeveloped?
well, again, it's just grass. It's not a huge area, but if we're looking to try to use every inch there, that might come into play. So we thought, well, let's look
And
at
the
that.
yellow square at the top?
Yellow square, so again, and that is probably even smaller, as the new building will come further to the north. So that is the old staff parking. And so, okay, what would go there? Is it staff parking?
So we don't know what goes there, just yet.
Yeah, correct. And that's this whole, this is kind of almost a blank slate. What would be best there? Is it back in parking, or is that a drop-off, or, something else?
Do the buses pull off in that?
So no, they do not. So right now, thank you, they pull up Fairway. So they're right against that purple line. They're on the street.
It's on the side of the road, and they
Yeah.
have to go in 4 waves because they can't fit.
Correct. So that would be one option. In that purple, for example, would have kind of like a parking lot like Hawthorne or Franklin that you could pull off the street. They could pull in diagonal, pull in, load, and then pull out. And then when we're not loading or unloading, that would be parking. You'd put 2 cars in that, you know, for the, say when there's an event at the auditorium or at the stadium down below.
So one more question
Yeah,
on the,
please.
on the purple one with the tennis courts, because
Mm-hmm.
I know there's maybe 2 usable tennis courts there.
That's,
So would repairing them be as much work as relocating them?
the repair will cost almost the same amount to relocate them. Because
They
we'll,
have to
we'll
be
have to
completely
redo the
ripped out.
base.
Okay.
And so, and that's okay, if we have to tear up, you know, the base, put new asphalt down there, okay, now's the opportunity. If we are going to ever move them, now is the
Now
time
would be the
to do that.
I know we talked about putting them over there on the other side of Olympus, towards the fairgrounds there. Is
Mhm.
that still an option, or is that kind of,
Into the blue.
no, 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 no.
No, on the corner. We've always
county
kicked that around with the county, but I know we've had maybe preliminary conversations,
Yes.
Dr. Howell?
That was-
Once we,
Before we bought
the
that.
management team changes and the county commissioners change, and so we've
Yeah.
never really been able to develop that idea very-
Okay,
or very far.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean over on the
Fairgrounds.
Fairground.
property?
Mhm.
It's a county property.
Yeah, it's,
The event center. It's not Highland. It's
It's,
not.
it's the
Oh,
southeast
Correct.
corner of the parking
Not
lot.
the excess property over on Jerome?
no,
No,
no.
that's not
No.
ours anymore.
It would be,
Well, part of it.
part of it is, yeah, 14 acres.
Okay, I thought
is
that's
Oh,
what
the
you were
bottom
talking.
part,
the top.
Top part.
the top part.
Top part, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, there was discussion, it's on that, Olympus and Fairway, over on the other side of the lights, you know, going down to the arenas. There's that parking lot over to the side that, again, it was thrown out, discussed, but like I said, it's hard to get traction.
Wasn't that really something we talked about before we purchased the 6 acres?
And it was, absolutely. We
Because
have
there
more
wasn't a space
availability,
To move them
correct.
at that time.
Yeah. Speaking of that 6 acres, again, now 4 of those acres are in, you know, in parking lot, and that should be finished up, I think even next week.
So is that what all the big piles of dirt are that I'm
Correct. So
seeing?
then those piles of dirt there that you see on Olympus,
Yeah.
that will stay there
Oh.
until we develop those last 2 acres. One, to kind of keep our drivers from going off that way. Keep them kind of contained
You think then?
in there.
Sounds like more fun.
Yeah, well, hopefully they're high enough. I know it is somewhat unsightly, but that would be part of this committee. And then, of course, timing, because we will have to probably start some of these projects that the board determines, you know, next summer. And, but by the end, yeah, that will have some green space on it. We'll have to collect all of our runoff water. So I imagine a lot of that by Olympus will just be kind of those swells for water runoff.
Very good.
So, anyway, just know that these things are coming. Sorry, did I cut somebody off?
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just wondering if there's still a possibility of doing a roundabout, even though the city is not going to give us that property, to be able to help the flow, you know, if some are dropping off into that first parking lot, some are going to go on to the second parking lot, and the parents are going to drop off their child at the front of the building, instead of just all this backed up traffic.
And again, we do just have to discuss that with the city, see if it makes sense. I mean, I have no problem asking the city, you know, of that, as long as that would help us. Because again, especially if it helps with the safety, they have said that,
And then if there's a crosswalk just after the roundabout, so that all the traffic stays,
close.
I don't know.
Sure. And that's, we'll
problem.
explore all ideas there, for sure. So again, there's always kind of more information to come there. Okay.
And do we need to you mentioned a committee are we going to use the Highland Rebuild Committee, or do we need to come up with a different number of a different committee? Or do we need to decide on different members, or are they just is it just going to be the Highland Rebuild Committee?
Sorry, and again, and Dr. Howell, you can jump in there. My initial thought was to use the original committee to save the board's time. They've already invested. There was conversation, okay, do we need, say, some of the staff there, but yet I'd rather have them all if it's, to say, for say ease. They've worked well together. It's a fairly large committee for these projects, being much, much smaller.
But I think there's just 2 staff members that kind of represent,
2 or
I guess,
3.
all the staff.
Sure. But yeah, that's definitely my thought is to use that core, from the parents to the community members and staff there.
Okay.
Okay. I think, let me get back to my agenda here. So I think, yes, our next one.
Can I ask you one other question about that?
Yeah,
Do you have an architect? You're going to use.
we would like to use Design West.
Design West continue on. with-
Correct. That we
with this-
think we can get the best price. They're doing a good job. We have communication lines already set up.
And
So-
they'll just keep going to
Correct.
finish it.
Design West and then Bateman Hall as
Okay.
well. Yeah.
Because originally, we had talked about Design West would freshen up the rest of the buildings, the old buildings, and tie it in.
Correct.
But then I think the budget was cut, and that 6,000 was taken out from the SIP committee. And I thought that was meant for the freshening of the old part. But I don't know if that was taken off as a priority, and then now we're going to put it back on. I'm not sure about that.
I'd like to say yes to everything. Because I mean, it's back on there.
Okay.
Will we look at the dollars, right? Because relook at our budgets, and then the board can weigh in on the committees. Because unfortunately, could we do everything on this? I'd love to. I don't know if we can, just depending on the price there. So there'll be a list of priorities, and we'll go until the budget.
Oh, okay.
Is
With the
expended.
committee, we'll kind of establish the,
Committee and as well as the board as well.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So just as an example, contingency funds, built into the budget that
Oh,
we
yes.
already have.
Yep.
We probably have, what was it, 2.5?
Correct. So right.
Third?
Yeah, 2.2 is
Uh-huh.
what we have for a million in contingency there.
Yeah.
And we
Um,
had 6 million from the SIP, and then we also, from a year or 2 ago, 2 years before the fire, we had $1 million for the parking lot. Like, it's kind of like all these different things that
Yeah,
have been
so there are different
allocated.
pots,
Yep.
buckets that
Absolutely.
the committee can look at drawing from, and Jonathan will set up those parameters so you don't get too crazy.
Correct.
Mhm.
So, and we would, I think I'm starting those communications with Design West. I think maybe just two committee meetings, get the board involved as well. So it won't be laborious, because again, I would love to include that in part of our SIP process, which is really takes steam October, November.
Yeah.
So
That's,
we'll look.
that makes sense. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I got a question real quick.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything, except for what I'm looking at the map here.
Okay.
It says Iron Horse Stadium. Didn't we change the name of that?
We did.
How can we
And,
get that changed on Google?
that's
2 or 3 years on Google.
good question.
Because if people say, oh, it's at the Highland High School Stadium, if they put that in their maps, will it take them to Highland High School Stadium?
I think because it will key off of the school,
Oh, okay.
and then they'll have to know the stadium's behind there.
I just wonder if
Yeah.
that's the only really issue with Google that I could imagine have a problem with.
I don't know, and maybe somebody's a little more.
You can do that. Okay,
So it's an. Okay, great.
okay, perfect. Well, I think we ought to get it right on there, so people will look at it. They'll
Absolutely,
know
absolutely.
what they're looking at.
Yep. Good question. Any other?
Had nothing to do with the rebuild, but
No, you're good. You're good. Okay, okay, this next one. Again, information. I don't know if you've had a chance to read it. It's only, I do have it bound if you'd like a nicer copy. Again, the wording is basically just first 18 of the 89 pages. The other 89 pages are basically all of the work papers and all of what he based them out of. Again, this is from the Ridge Structural Engineering out of Rexburg that did this evaluation, really looking at the seismic evaluation of Washington. Again, even on page, well, Roman numeral 2, again, the executive summary, there's 6 items that they recommend to retrofit. As it says, to improve the school's seismic resilience and ensure occupant safety during an earthquake. So really, we all can read the words, and it's just to get the understanding of that. So the next phase, as I've talked to the individual, the engineer, Micah, Dean, the next phase is to use a general contractor to help put some dollars to this. I mean, this came back, in my opinion, kind of where I thought it would be. You know, it obviously had some things we need to work on, but now to be really effective to the board, the next steps would be to get some budget numbers on there. So I've started that conversation even today. Just to full transparency, it was when I was on the phone call with Bateman Hall. Again, we have that great relationship. We might pay them, because again, somebody's gonna have to dive in here. The work papers do have length, wall length, plate height, so that they'll know kind of, along with the plans of what needs to do there. Basically to validate the numbers that we were throwing out earlier from this large state report. And then just as a reminder, although there'll be a little bit easier numbers to get, this report doesn't include ADA access or HVAC or boiler, mechanical, electrical upgrades.
Or sprinklers.
Or sprinkler system, exactly, once you touch in there, so.
And so if this were to be retrofitted, all of it would have to be done up to current codes.
That is correct. Once you touch something, you'd have to do that. But again, I don't want to assume. I mean, we know the 6 items here, but I don't want to assume. But I want to get some of these budget numbers, for the board, for our committee and so forth. So that's kind of our next phase there. But this is online, available, pictures and so forth, for that.
And so what would be the cost of this and doing like a construction evaluation of how much?
So if I remember right, this evaluation, you mean, was about?
Oh, yeah, and then together with kind of an estimate of what it would be from a construction.
This I think cost us right around $9,000 for this report. I'm not sure. Bateman Hall might be able to do it for free. I just want to make sure I don't want to use and abuse them, since they're, but I would hope, it would just be someone's time to go through that through an estimator. Okay, here's the required retrofits, and here's, some of the dimensions, of the roof, of the walls, of the various things, and put that together. I assume that would just be on kind of a time basis. So I daren't say, but I'd hope it'd be, less than $1,000, to do that.
Thank you. Any other
Yeah.
questions?
Okay.
So the next one,
Okay, yep, we'll just keep going through here.
4 more.
Yep, we'll go fast here. This next one, just wanted to, you've seen it in the news there. Again, that from the federal level, some of our federal funds have been held back where we normally would have received those. And 33 million, I think, is what the state of Idaho's proportion is. Our district is right at a little over 700,000. And so just in the red, I mean, here's literally the memo that we got 2 weeks ago from the State Department. Wanted to put in some different numbers there of what we received. And so really, we're hoping for the best and planning for, not the best. But again, contracts have been issued for some of these employees. Again, as we talked about on June 17th when this first broke, that's why we have savings with the general fund. Some of these were allowed to carry over 25%. And typically we don't carry over that much, but there are some carry forward. And that's why, we'll issue those contracts there. But again, we're looking at the whole throughout the whole system of what are the most important elements of our program. Again, can some of these be, because we still have our state professional development funds, or use other budgets as well to do some of these great things that you heard Ms. Bowie speak about. That being said, we are looking at holding, freezing, whatever word you'd like to use, some of our professional development opportunities until we get that money. Again, fiscally responsible. We don't want no individuals will be hurt by these freezes, but some of the activities might be. But again, prioritizing what's most important to keep this great success of our district moving forward. So plan on more information on August 12th, our next work session, if those funds have not been released.
So
but
if I
just-
understand, this red is what you've put in here.
That is, yes, that's what,
And-
and that's what
and
we
what we
received
have
last
been-
year.
Oh, I see. So that's what we received last year, and
Correct.
this is what you were expecting the same this year?
Correct,
and
So- and it's, yes, within a couple $1,000, correct.
Okay.
But then that's, normally these funds are, tied into with salaries and benefits, but then also some supplies. Obviously, professional development has some other activities to, enhance our educator effectiveness and so forth.
So is this separate from what we were hearing from the governor about the 6%
It is,
being
actually.
held back?
It
This
is.
is different.
This is
That's
from the
state.
federal, this is our, yes, President
And we
Trump.
don't have any more details on that?
No more details on that. As soon as we get that, we will let you know there, so.
Okay.
Yep, we're, again, and thanks to you as the board to kind of allow us to have some of these general fund carryovers, fiscally responsible last year, previous years, so that we can weather some of these storms and do what's best for our learners and for our staff. So, more information to come, and hopefully we'll all know that we received our money and business as usual. But if not, then we'll talk more and let the board know. Okay. And then it's ironic, the next one that's on the agenda that got added is, again, it's another grant. This is from the state where they had some additional money. This is for evaluation materials. As you know, is just key for special education. This is a mini grant, a little over $13,000 that we have. It was awarded, as you can see, kind of on that first page, awarded just the 18th of June. We have until September to spend it, and which we will. We spend not 10 times more, but it's very close to that much. So we appreciate any of the grant. And I think, Ms. Johnson, can I kind of mention that we might be bringing some maybe some other procedures in front of you because of these grants, maybe have a dollar amount. Is that okay to say? Or maybe is that
Yeah,
preemptive?
I think that we had discussed just the possibility of bringing some board policy revisions that would set an amount to, some of these mini grants we get are pretty small. Do you want to see all of them or up to a certain amount? So we would ask if you wanted to consider that and bring any policy revisions. It's kind of the same as our public procurement where we have up to 50,000 before we have to get an official bid or board approval, that type of thing. So we're just getting a lot more of these mini grants, so
Correct.
up to you guys.
I think it's good to at least see them, whether we actually have an action
Approval.
on them.
Maybe we could put them in
It's
the
nice to
consent or
know.
the,
Right.
Information.
Information.
That could be a good consent agenda item.
just the consent agenda item if you'd ever
Yeah.
like to. Okay. Again, then we'll bring that up. Want to mention that.
So I have another question
Mhm.
then about some of this money being held back. I mean, is that something that we would communicate to the public? I mean, it just feels like, this is one of those items that as we're talking about, closing a school or tightening, this is something, I don't know.
Absolutely.
How does that get,
So we have
communicated. I
discussed
don't
that on
know.
Monday, and I don't know if
because I mean, I
Dr.
know we
Howell?
want to stay away from political discussions,
Yeah.
but
what-
yet at the same time, I mean, this is
Yeah, how it
hitting our
impacts-
Yeah.
this is hitting our bottom line, and it's
Right.
going to affect future decisions.
So for tonight, we just wanted to maybe make you aware and talk about some of the things that we are trying to do proactively, but not delve into it too far until we know whether or not there's an opportunity for those funds to be pulled through.
So it's not until it's
Yeah.
actually.
It's
So
not
I-
even a
I-
final
Right.
thing.
Right.
As we
Like,
get
we don't really
closer
know.
to the start of school and looking at that work session, that's when we will bring you a spreadsheet and talk to you about specific items. And I think we can key off of that to put together an article to say this is how it will affect our district.
Okay, thank you.
So with these federal grants, even though we spend them every year, technically we have 2 years to spend them. And that's how we can do a little carryover. So obviously, we're hopeful that, okay, when they release the funds, hopefully it's in the fall, not in the spring, so we have opportunities to spend, that amount. So, anyway,
Just know
it's a
they're playing
timing.
with it, because even in my world,
Sure,
2 months ago, I do a drawdown and the money
Yes.
is there.
yeah,
Yesterday's drawdown, money's not there.
correct.
So it just, things change regularly.
Correct. And so we're being proactive, looking, again, preparing for hoping for the best, preparing for the worst, minimal as impact to our people, our learners and staff as possible.
Thank you.
So, like I say, more information.
And I think that's also an important message
Absolutely.
too, for our community to know that we are prepared, we are, and I don't know how you do that, that's what I.
We are, to our ability, we are self-sufficient,
Yeah.
fiscally.
Yeah,
Part of
and
it's a
we-
wait and see too with
Yeah,
the
we have to
State Department.
know what the final
And the-
answer is before we can
Yeah, the
start
governor-
voicing opinions about
Yeah.
anything.
They have the PCF account, and a couple others that the state could look at, but then that's a whole nother discussion for legislators and so
Yeah.
forth. And, but we're aware of all that, and we will prepare accordingly.
Well, and also just to be clear, Deanna, I don't want us to express opinion, I want it to be certainly based on fact.
Oh,
No, I'm
and-
not.
Absolutely.
No,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not,
no.
don't bring me
well,
into it.
No, well, you just said you didn't want to
No,
have
it's-
opinion out there.
Well, we,
and
no,
I
we
don't
just
want
haven't, there's
opinion.
not a decision yet, is what I mean.
Gotcha.
Sure, yeah, as
So
Dr. Hale
is
said,
there-
kind of a wait and see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I was getting from this as
Yeah.
well.
Perfect.
Is there a motion to approve?
No.
We don't need to approve it?
Oh, mini grants.
The mini grant?
It is on here a little bit,
I was
you're
back
fine.
on that. other
Yeah,
one.
is there a
I was
motion
just
to
gonna-
approve the Department of Education mini grant as presented?
I hereby move that the board approve the Idaho Department of Education Special Education Mini Grant Award as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. The next is the bid award for the fuel.
Okay, thank you. Again, it's been, we went out to bid for our gas and diesel fuel. Again, these vendors are very, they're across the nation. They're also very integrated with even some of the trucks that we see are hauling fuel. 9 vendors were invited to bid. We received bids back from 3, but 1 was unresponsive, wasn't complete. The way that we do that, we have to pick a time, April 4th. Okay, what was your fuel bid? What was your amount of fuel, your cost of fuel on that date? And that way, as you know, they all change. And so April 4th is what we've done historically. And so that's the way that we did. So again, you see the 2 bids, Synergy, based out of Colorado, or Petroleum Traders, based out of Indiana. So you can see there the price of gasoline and their profit, same with the diesel and their profit. So our request is a motion to award Petroleum Traders for the gasoline and diesel fuel. Again, you will never see a Petroleum Trader truck. They outsource, they have different carriers, different networks of refineries and so forth. But this is a new vendor, but we've had good discussions with them. We feel they'll be able to meet our needs in a timely manner. And so it's our request to award this bid to Petroleum Traders.
Is there a motion to approve the award bid for fuel as presented?
Hereby move that the board move that the board award the bid for fuel as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I just have a question real quick.
Yes, please.
When it says that it's $2.42 some odd cents, that's not like the price that we pay right now. That's just the price you're saying that was April 4th.
That is correct.
So we just pay current going.
Correct. We
Okay.
would pay the current price. That's how, as you know, they're just like our, at the pump at our gasoline stations and diesel stations go up and down, so does theirs. But
Okay.
we've found that is the most effective to be fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I just wanted to clarify that.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So
they
it's-
can't.
It's based
They,
on
they
this
won't
moment
hold
in
their
time,
price.
But they're going to provide it for the year.
That is correct.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
I don't know what else you can do.
Yep, that's essentially it. Yep.
Next is the bus route.
All
Is
those
that
in
vote?
favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That bid is approved.
Okay, thank you. And keeping in the transportation vein, this is Idaho statute. I'm not sure, I don't have that quoted in front of me. Which one is to basically for the school board to approve the bus stops and bus routes. Again, I appreciate trustee Knopf there mentioning, that at least in the document, there wasn't the headers there. It initially was that link that if you zoom in, you can see all the stops. Again, but in this, for this clarification in this document, it's the school name, the service, that school there, the address of the stop. That first number is the morning route bus, and when that morning bus gets to that stop, the next column is the evening bus number, and then when it is at that stop. And then the yes and no on some of these, are not on all of them, is if it's a safety stop. And that's within, if it's in 1.5 miles of the school, it's a safety stop. Because technically, well, even though everyone does, but by law, we actually don't have to transport anybody that's within 1.5 miles of school. But we do because they have to cross major roads next to canals, so forth. So that is for action item. And just know that these obviously are changing all the time, just as new riders come in, or they're not there. Some of our different programs, McKinney-Vento and so forth, changes some of the stops as well. But that is up for action for you this evening.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the bus routes for 2025-2026 school year and authorize the administration to make the adjustments throughout the school year as presented?
I hereby move that the board set the bus routes for the 2025-2026 school year and authorize the administration to make adjustments throughout the school year as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion?
Just, we're still doing the bus app?
Yes,
That's
bus,
still-
right. Yep. There's over 1,000 rider parents, that use that app. And we'd love more, because it is extremely handy for communications, for when things happen. Yes, we are.
That's great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The bus routes are approved.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. The next on the agenda is the board calendar presented by Doug Howell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the first two items there after tonight's board meeting are a couple of community opportunities. So local issues on Friday, and then community prevention. We have that for August 12th. Are they going in August? Sonia? Okay.
Yeah, we just had one.
All right. So if you're interested, let Ms. Johnson know for those two community opportunities. And then we have a tentative time there at 3:30 on the 12th for a board work session. And again, we've mentioned that a couple times already this evening. On the 13th, Wednesday, that's typically our student discipline for hearings. And so we have this scheduled. I think in the past, we've always had at least one. And so we'll just put that as a placeholder for you for reinstatement on the 13th. On the 18th, and this is actually noted in the next item as well on your other calendar for candidacy and elections, but first dated to